Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh.
These are the voyages of the Batship Transit attempting the League Against Tedium. Its mission, to discover inland and confuse it.
Attention, Scum! Scum, pay attention. You are nothing. Absolutely nothing. You are...
Yummy!
Behold superiority! This am Sheffield, city of chefs and no fields. Yes, in 1654 it was valued at £400, but what with the spiralling effects of inflation, it's worth almost double that now. One day, all of this will be irrelevant. Do you know why?
Because it is now.
Roses are red, violets are blue. You're acting strange, so is sectioning you.
Sheffield, city of sport.
Ah, Sheffield. Once I visited a steelworks to have some gloves made.
And while I was there, I stood at the entrance to the blast furnace.
So that I could intimidate the flames.
And the foreman came to me and said,
"You are a fool."
as I pushed him in, I said,
"You are fuel." Thus, I won.
Hello, customer services. How can I seem to help you?
Here are my thoughts, endless and true. Yao, pick a page number.
14.
Wrong. Thought. The truly beautiful are often abused for apparent ugliness, just as those with great vision often bump into things. I have the brain of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the cock of a hippopotamus. All I need now is some glue.
And the word here on the street is mellifluous. Mellifluous.
my decree, history shall be rewritten, this time without any punctuation, so that it is just one long sentence, linked together by the phrase, and then what happened was...
And then what happened was, in 1534, Henry VIII decreed the Act of Supremacy which dissociated the English Church from the Catholic Church of Rome and made himself its head in place of the Pope, and then what happened was...
And now... Good evening. I am the Church of England. Let me explain. Firstly, my friends, I stand before you tonight not as an example, but a bloody warning. Don't stay up all night taking shitloads of drugs, watching Michael Caine videos. On top of that, don't go start reading the Bible, because then things get really out of hand. I am the Church of England. Let me explain. In 1534, Henry VIII, who was a big man but out of shape, performed the Act of Supremacy separating the Church of England from the Church of Rome. Basically, he couldn't get a divorce. He said, right, I'm off. I'm taking my country with me. England, like bloody fool, went along with it. This leaves the thinking Englishman today with a choice. Either we go back to the Church of Rome and beg like dogs, like bloody dogs, to be let back in, or we take the bull Henry has thrown to us, run with it, pursue it to its logical conclusion, and each become our own church. I, for one, am willing to become a Catholic, but only if I can be Pope. The Italian job, as I call it. Got my own costume, sure I'll fit in very well. Now, I'm not in a rush, of course. Next time there's a vacancy, I'll be waiting. I've got a lot of ideas. Some of them very commercial. Dome and St Peter's, I'll say double that again. They'll get the tourists. Now, if you are a Catholic, hello. I might be joining you soon as leader. If you want to take offence, take offence. If you want to build a wall, get some bricks. That's what my dad used to say. He was a builder, not a thief. Except garden things, obviously. Question. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? I dunno. Let us perform a brief experiment. Behold, my friends, an unstoppable force. Behold, an immovable object. Let the experiment begin. Nothing. What did you expect? Sparks? Very well then. Sparks.
As yet, nothing has happened. I wonder if I should apologize.
I have no watch, yet still I know the time. How? I count monkey swings. It's nearly 4 o'clock. Time! What is the secret of comedy? Ing! Thought. What was the greatest crime of the 20th century? Sheffield. And it's spreading. There's one good thing about Sheffield, the people. There are none, just trolls. Ah, memories. I remember when I stood in Hyde Park in the nude on a plinth, pretending to be a monument to extreme physical beauty, and young maidens in floods would pass by, pointing at my member and whimpering to their guardians, "Ooh, is that what it looks like?" And their guardians would reply, "Alas, no, that is an exaggeration. And that's what I call a clitoris."
News! Michael Bartello. The rumours continue. Nevertheless, back to proper news. News! 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 That's not news! This is news!
I am the Church of England. A church of one. What we do in my church is pretend to be Jesus. Makes us different from the other churches who basically points to him and go, "He was a good bloke." In my church, we pretend to be Jesus. Gets on people's nerves a bit, but that's all right. So did he. How do you think he ended up here? Winning a popularity contest? I don't think so. He wasn't a popular man at the time of his death, clearly. And look what they wrote above him. Rex. I wouldn't call my bloody dog Rex.
And the word on the street is, I smell. I smell.
Oh, ladies, when you're staring at the mirror in despair and none of your clothes seem appropriate, don't worry, relax. Put the kettle on. It might suit you. In any case, when one is wearing a kettle, the rest of one's clothes seldom attract comment. Beware the smile of the waiter. It means he has pissed in your soup. And when I observe such a smile, what do? I drink the soup. I drink the soup. Yes. And then pronounce it the best soup I have ever tasted. And watch as his smile turns to tears. Thus I win. Now, whatever it says in the Bible, the truth remains. You can read the Bible and dismiss it as nonsense, if you like. You can dismiss it as nonsense without reading it to save time, if you prefer. And that's the route I've chosen. Now, the message of Christ is a simple one. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. As any boxer will tell you, it's not what you dish out that matters, it's what you can take. And could this guy take a punch, or what? He said to the world, "Come on then, hit me." The world being the world did. And by the act of hardness, he redeemed mankind. Now, my relationship to Jesus is very similar to the relationship between Bjorn Again and ABBA. I'm a big fan of his, and if I can make a living pretending to be him, so be it. Now, Jesus said, for example, "Give all your money to the poor." That is what, incidentally, why I'm speaking in a Michael Caine-type voice, because that is how Jesus used to speak. Except in Hebrew. The point is, he did not speak like a bloody vicar. He was a bloke. And he went, oi, give all your money to the poor. Not some of it, now and then, all of it, right now. And that's what I do. I give all my money to the poor in exchange for drugs. I get the money and the feeling of having a worthwhile job. Now, some people don't like talk about drugs. None of my friends, or dealers, as they prefer to be called, worry about that at all. And when I say drugs, I don't mean marijuana. That is not drugs. That is what you take when you're waiting for the bloody drugs to wear off. Let it be soon. Hello? Lesbians. What do they do exactly? What did the Australians say at the South Pole? Boo! Partly because of the temperature, we're cold. Also, because the Australians have an approach to language which is at the same time minimal and minimalist. They haven't got much language and they're very happy that way. In Australia, the Macquarie Dictionary Company, the sole manufacturers of Australian dictionaries, are not in fact dictionary manufacturers at all. What they do is import English dictionaries and then do some crossing out. No worries, they say in Australia. In Canada, no problem. In London, we say no. If you wish to speak in an Australian accent, it's very easy. Simply speak as if you expect to be mocked. It is the world's only artificial accent. It was created in 1854 in a laboratory in Perth as a form of vocal branding.
There's so many things have the potential to kill you. Why die from a disease when there's bus drivers who won't acknowledge zebra crossings? Elsker, read all about it. Just like the old one, but affects a different part of your body. Okay, look, rub an ointment, do what you will, but you can't escape it. Once we've had the final one and the wall wiped off the face of the earth, germs will survive. And why? Because they know that they can use rats as little f***ing buses. Rats and cockroaches and germs will survive. We won't. So stop defying nature and stop trying to get your hair back once you're balding. Just accept that diseases go round and round. It works in a fashion, like a circle. Jeff Banks is off the telly, he's on the telly. Germs, you're sick, then you're well. What can you do? What you can do, don't challenge it. There's a germ, it's in your area. If you haven't caught it, go clubbing. If you have caught it, don't be so selfish and stay at home.
Once, I was staring at a beautiful painting. I'm sorry, did I say painting? I meant mirror. When I had an experience which I can only describe as wah. I'd taken my usual combination of drugs, aspirin for my stomach, alcohol for my spirit, cocaine for my timidity, placebos for my hypochondria. And I had been talking to myself. I'd been discussing with myself the merits of mirrors. What was it about them that made ladies so attracted to them? Whether or not it was worth replacing the magnets on my cloak with mirrors, that sort of thing. And then suddenly, on the third hour, I had a strange sensation. It was as if I was being heard, listened to. It's not a sensation I was accustomed to. Oh no, when one casts pearls before swine, one expects the pigs to grunt occasionally, but listen, no. I do not expect people to listen. One cannot expect dwarves to queue for the rack. Heard, moreover, by a higher being. That is to say, a being higher than myself. It was hard to imagine. What can it be? Could it be, perhaps, my reflection? No. No, my reflection was not as handsome nor as intelligent as I, and moreover, was left-handed. It could not be a higher being. Therefore, I was left with only one possible conclusion. I felt very humble, yet proud.
Sometimes circumstances interrupt me reveries, and I am forced to ask myself a question. Why, oh why, does the bath overflow every time I run it? And the answer comes with the clarity of a commotion in the flat below. Ah yes, it is because I am incapable of running a bath. Hurrah, I weep. Oh God, I laugh. I shall never be bored again, nor allowed a moment's peace.
Attention, Scum!
The history of idiocy. In the beginning there was nothing. Then there were idiots. That's it.
This is the end. Beautiful friend. This is the end. My only friend. The end of our elaborate plans.
Oi! I told you to turn the bloody doors off. That's better. Now, before we move on to the hymn, let's have a quick prayer. We made a new prayer for my church. Think about the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. Don't know about you, mine art in Watford. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Can't argue with that. God, hallowed. Can't think of anyone more hallowed than that. hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Fairly obviously. It's kind of a working definition of your kingdom's coming. If your kingdom has come, your will be done. You can cut that line out for speed. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven, whatever that means. Give us this day our daily bread. Yes, please. Some tomatoes as well would be nice. Forgive us our trespasses. Yes, please. As we forgive those who trespass against us. Tricky bit. Lead us not into temptation, except on a Friday night maybe. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the... Hold on. For thine is the kingdom. It's thy kingdom come earlier. It's here by the end. Whatever. Oh, it's not to reason why. Right, let's look at it like this. Who killed Jesus? Right? Let's look at it in diagram form. There he is, up on the cross. Now, let's widen the frame a little bit, shall we? Look around for suspects. Right. It wasn't thieves, was it? They've got what you might call an alibi. Now let's have a look at the reverse angle view. The view from the Jesus perspective. Does that look familiar at all? Yes, I bet there was one or two waving, screaming out at him, "Boy, you saved other people, why don't you save yourself? Skinny git, ha ha ha." So, what we do, we imagine we're at Calvary, Jesus up on the cross, and we repeat this simple sentence. Jesus, we're sorry, and we won't do it again. All together now.
We're sorry, and we won't do it again.
Jesus can't hear you.
Jesus, we're sorry, and we won't do it again.
Okay, you all forgive him?
Hey.
Behind me, scenes of violence and mayhem. In front of me, nothing but green fields.
I'd like to thank you all for coming. In your pants. So, what memories shall I take from Sheffield? It's all right, Jesus only had 11. 12. You look beautiful. Keeping your hands warm there. I hope to see you again on another occasion. Welcome to the future. It's broken. We're intending to have some dry weather, some more people, maybe a bit of a party. But you know, it's your city, your weather, you take the blame. Thank you very much. Good night. Oh, more! More! Come on, more! Clap like Americans! Good night.